Hello, boys and girls. I am Miss Becky. Each week, I'll be here to share encouraging and uplifting stories with you, just the way Miss Kathy would have wanted us to. Surprise! Shh! I think he's coming, someone hissed. Chris crouched down behind a small table with Sammy and Maria. The church lobby sure looks different in the dark, he whispered. I know, Maria answered. I can't believe we're doing this. Did you see Mrs. Abernathy hiding behind that plant? I never thought she would do anything like this. Yeah, Chris laughed. And remember whose idea it was. While they waited in the darkness, he thought back to the Sabbath before and the lesson that started all these plans. The Shoebox Kids were studying about the rebellion of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Whoa, Chris had said slowly. I guess no one was against Moses and Aaron after the ground opened up and swallowed those rebels. God was really strict back then, wasn't he? Mrs. Shue nodded. It seems like that, doesn't it? Try to remember that this happened very long ago at a time when most people believed that there were many gods. After many years in Egypt, the Israelites were confused. First, God had to teach them that he was a very strong God. Then he could teach them that he was the only true God. Why was it so important to follow Moses and Aaron? Maria asked. Couldn't the Israelites just have followed God in their own way? We would think so today, Mrs. Shue answered, but we know a lot about God today. God was trying to teach and lead his people through Moses and Aaron. If the people wouldn't listen to them and respect them, then God couldn't teach them. Dee Dee raised her hand. The people were still mad at Moses and Aaron, remember? I like what happened next to Aaron's rod. That was a nice way to show who God had chosen for a leader, wasn't it? Mrs. Shue agreed. 11 of the rods looked like old sticks, but Aaron's rod must have been amazing. Leaves, flowers, and ripe almonds? No almond tree ever does it that way. It had to be a sign from God. Chris had a puzzled look on his face. Mrs. Shue, how do we know who God's leaders are today? I'm glad you asked that, Mrs. Shue said. Before she could say another word, the shoebox door popped open, and Pastor Hill stuck his head in. Am I too early? He asked. Mrs. Shue laughed. No, you're just in time to answer a question. Kids, I invited Pastor Hill to join us this morning to answer questions just like Chris's. Pastor, how do we know who God's leaders are today? Pastor Hill smiled. I didn't become a pastor just because I thought it would be a fun job. It is fun, but I decided to be a pastor for just one reason, because I believe that God wanted me to be a leader for him. How did you know? Willie asked. Did God tell you? Well, he didn't talk out loud to me or make a stick grow leaves and flowers and ripe almonds, but I believe he spoke to my heart. He made me want to tell other people about him. Chris had another question. Is that all you do, preach on Sabbath and tell us about God? That made Pastor Hill laugh. No, Chris, I do a lot of things. He told them about visiting people at home and at the hospital, about helping people, about looking for people who had never heard about God. I even helped take care of the church. Just last night I had to come back and lock the front door because it had been left open accidentally. After Pastor Hill was gone, Maria said, I wonder if our church ever makes Pastor Hill feel like Moses and Aaron did, like we don't want him to be our leader. Does anyone ever thank him for everything? Jenny wondered out loud. I've got an idea, Chris said suddenly. Let's have a surprise thank you party. Everyone liked that idea. Before they left, each one had a part of the plan to carry out. And remember, keep it a secret, Chris reminded them. He found his mom and dad out in front of the church. Mom, listen, he said. We're going to surprise Pastor Hill Thursday night. He explained the plan. Can you help me tell people? But remember, it's a secret. His dad frowned. If everyone comes to the church to surprise him, won't he see the parking lot full of cars? He'll know something is going on. Chris's shoulders slumped. You're right. He won't be surprised at all. Could everyone park down the street or something? Suddenly, Pastor Hill stepped up. Hey, what's going on? Well, Chris said without thinking, we can't imagine getting by without this parking lot, Mr. Vargas interrupted. It would be a big problem if everyone had to park on the street. Pastor Hill nodded and pointed to a church down the street. Remember when they were paving their parking lot? The pastor's a friend of mine. He told me that parking on the street was a nightmare. As Pastor Hill walked away, Chris looked up. Thanks, Dad. I nearly ruined the surprise. Then he had an idea. Dad, didn't the people from that church use our parking lot for a few weeks? Dad's eyes lit up. You're right, Chris. That might just work. We're back in business, Chris said with a big grin. That next Thursday night in the dark of the church lobby, Chris was still grinning. After a minute or so, Sammy asked, Did someone call Pastor Hill? My mom called Mrs. Hill, Maria answered. She's supposed to tell him that someone saw the church's front door open. Shh! This time they all heard the sound of footsteps. Then the church door swung in. Even though it was dark, Chris recognized Pastor Hill's voice. I hope we haven't had a burglary, Pastor Hill said to himself. Then the lights flashed on. Surprise! Everyone jumped out and shouted. Chris was close enough to see Pastor Hill's eyes get really big. He stepped back and blinked twice. Then he smiled. You almost gave me a heart attack, he told everyone. And where are all your cars? We parked them at the church down the street, Maria explained. Were you surprised? Was I ever? Pastor Hill said with a big grin. Then he saw the balloons and the cake and the big sign that said, Thank you, Pastor Hill. His eyes got really big again. I don't know what to say. Say you're welcome, Chris answered. We wanted you to know that we really do appreciate the work you do for God and for us. The story you have heard today is from the Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, written by Jerry D. Thomas and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.